Hey, we're 40 seconds early. Are we live? Up, we're live. No one's out there yet. Where are you people at? Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and start. Hey, I have today a creators, Patrick the writer, you know, and then artist, the fantastic Phil, and and mediator me, I'm in the bookworm comic book, whatever, and then what else? Oh yeah, and then I'm the guy who created the fantastic thumbnail. No one understands.
Award-winning thumbnail, by the way. That was
Yes.
award-winning.
Classic.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it feels the one who gave me the idea, right? I asked these guys for the photo, and Phil decided that he's going to be a Rembrandt, right? And so
Yes.
I said, okay, well, if I bring out the Rembrandt to my channel, then the other guy got to be not less than a Shakespeare, right? So,
Sure.
There you go.
so if you guys didn't understand uh, what the thumbnail was about, is here's a Rembrandt and Shakespeare right here to promote their comic books.
I'm
Okay.
just gonna
Love
change
it.
that. I'm gonna change that to my LinkedIn photo. I think.
Okay. All right. So Patrick, you're the initiator for this project, right?
Yes, sir.
So lead on, and tell me all about your book. You
Yeah.
know?
So
It's best that you keep me quiet because that's the best way.
I can do that. So if you guys don't know, I am Patrick Hickey Jr. I am the editor in chief and owner of Legacy Comics. Um, I'm also the editor in chief of ReviewFix.com. I'm a senior writer at Old School Gamer magazine. I've written 7 books on video game history. I'm a former NBC editor. I am the chairman of the City University of New York Journalism Discipline Council. So I'm a geek. I've owned Legacy Comics since 2021. Our initial Kickstarter was 301% funded. And that started us off with like 4 or 5 ongoing series. Since then, we've published over 50 single issue comics. Our number one book, our number one series is Condry, and it's about a New York City homeless man who is trying to find out who killed his father. So if you like Tarzan, if you like Highlander, if you like Spawn, if you like The Count of Monte Cristo, if you like Frank Miller's Batman, if you like Frank Miller's Daredevil, it's all of those things all pushed into one. It's a gritty, sweaty, macho noir. That is,
Wow.
it's geared towards people that grew up in the late 80s and early 90s in comics. So
I like a lot of those things. Tarzan, what's the French word? Jambaljang is what Koreans call it. Jambaljang.
mhm.
Mhm.
You guys know what I'm talking about? Jambaljang.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
The guy who steals the bread, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Hello. How are you?
Cassie.
Hey.
Cassie's awesome.
All right. So go ahead and how you guys meet? I mean, you seem like you already pretty well established, and I'm not saying Phil isn't. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
not saying that at all. Okay,
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just a wild man off the streets.
Yeah, he's our
Yeah.
Condry. That's why we picked him. You know.
There you go.
Oh
So
yeah.
Mhm.
What does country mean, by the way?
it's just so it's just like I was a sports writer for about 10 years. Covered minor league baseball for about 10 years for NBC, Scout.com, New York Sports Scene magazine, and I just met so many different players with all these cool names. And there was a guy that used to play for the San Diego Padres, and his name was Clay Condry, and I just liked the last name, so
Oh,
I took
okay.
it. I took it.
Oh.
I didn't quite pull a Todd McFarlane, and use the exact person because it's not. But the last name is a pretty cool last name, so I was just like, yeah, we're gonna go with that. To answer your question, how I met Phil was we've done about 8 issues in the series, like 6 full issues and then like 3 spin-offs. So we've released an omnibus early this year. So we've been really like pushing the series. But for these, this is Conjuring Prayer for the Dying, the new comic that we have in the series is kind of a spin-off one shot, and I like to bring in new artists for that to try them out and to give people their start in the comic book industry. And it started off in a crazy way because I was on Phil's podcast, and then we followed each other on Instagram, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, Phil can draw.
Ah.
So it's just like we would just start talking. And the thing that I love the most about Phil is like every time I get off a podcast, the podcaster is like, oh, I'm an artist, blah, blah, blah. And Phil is one of the most humble, down to earth, nice people. And like, you know, we come from like similar stock in the fact that like he's married, has kids, works, and you know, and it's just like he's just a good guy. And it's like you want to see good people. You're welcome. You want to see good people do great things. And then I just saw so much of his art on his Instagram, and I'm like, we have to find a way to do something together. So we ended up trying him out on a couple of covers, and one of them was for Conjuring 4, and he destroyed it. This was like one of the prettiest covers we've ever done. And then he did a cover for The Job, Dark Matches, which is like a collection of like 3 or 4 ash cans put into one that we did with Comics Curing Cancer, which it was a relationship that Phil helped foster as well. So
Naman and I were in the art book together.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Phil's artwork is in there, by the way.
I love, you know, and so it's just like Phil established himself as just like a really down to earth, good, solid guy. And after he did the covers, that I drove him crazy on just going back and forth. He proved, because I mean, if you're a sequential artist, you need to have a thick skin, and you need to be able to take direction, and you need to be able to make deadlines. And Phil has proven wonderfully adequate on all 3 of those things, and it's just been a blast to work with him.
I mean,
thank you.
He is foremost. He is a YouTuber, not just YouTuber. YouTuber and comic book community. So he has to have a pretty thick skin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I'll say this too. I mean, first of all, Pat, thanks for the glowing words.
No problem.
As and Naman, I'm sure you can relate to this. As a YouTube host or whatever, sometimes you get a lot of requests. Hey, can I come on and talk about my book and whatnot? Pat has been one of those people who you talked to him for 5 minutes. You could see the passion for what he does. I mean, you heard like the first 8 minutes of the show, he was just saying, yeah, no, I wrote these books and this book. He's a busy guy. And I don't know how he has that work-life balance, but that's another topic for another day. As a YouTube person, I'm going to say that it's a pleasure to have somebody who's not only just there to sell a book, but who's just brimming with love and affection for the hobby that we love so much. And that's something that I really appreciate from Pat. And it's easy to really pick up one of his books and see, I don't want to keep saying passion, but to really see his appreciation for the material here.
Cool. Well, did I hear you say that it's going to be published soon?
Yeah. Before we went live, I told you. It's actually at the printer. It's going to be here on Friday. That's what they said. Yeah, super fast. I'm super shocked. So we have that, and we have a physical a cover A and a variant cover, a print variant cover, and we're gonna have I haven't even told anybody this. But we're gonna have another digital exclusive variant be released probably like next week at some point. So we're trying to like really throw the stops out. So we've already got one digital exclusive virgin variant on the website. So we're going to have multiple covers for this. It's just a really fun, like if you've never experienced Conjuring, this is a great like gateway drug to like what the series is all about. So,
okay. If people get involved, you guys, if you guys don't mind using your, it's like all of these things, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then so you guys object to having a duck race at the end of the interview? and
A duck race.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna have a duck race
for a giveaway.
Oh,
give
sure.
away.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Sure.
so if people are asking questions and I like their questions and they use it, they get a duck, right?
Okay. Sure.
And then at the end of the show, you'll provide some comic books that I'll pay for it. Don't worry, I'll pay for it. I'll go order them, and then I'll send whoever wins the duck race gets the comic book, right?
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
so that's what I'll do.
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
what you guys
Quack, quack.
in the chat? I mean, all three of you guys, you have a better chance than other because you now could ask questions. It helped me this poor man out. I cannot ask all the questions all the time. So,
Sure.
Or
you
if
guys
you're
could ask the
smart,
questions.
go ahead and grab another phone or another device, sign in with another name, and
He's
then you get
smart.
additional. Just
Mhm.
don't say anything.
Yeah, just don't tell anybody.
Exactly.
Okay. So hey, there's Kenneth. Hey, Kenneth, how are you?
Hey, Kenneth.
Kenny
Hey,
Bird.
oh, wow. As soon
Oh,
as I
Ducky,
mentioned
there you go.
duck race, there's Ducky.
What's up, Ducky?
All right. So if so that's how I'm going to do it, and then I will also along with I'm going to order something from them, and Phil was in this, guys. So let me go ahead and show Phil's up here. I'm proud to have said that I work with the Phil.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we had a lot of heart-to-heart IG chats because we were both, I think, a little out of our not out of our element. We were going with materials that you and I aren't necessarily used to.
Yeah, well, I'm not used to doing it. I'm definitely that's yours, right?
Yep, that's mine.
Yeah.
Love it.
So this is and we both donated to the. I don't know if I got you weren't at the. I didn't get your signature.
No, I've never signed one.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, I went to HeroesCon and I tried to get everybody that was there to sign. Some of them are signed, but yeah, I'll include it as a gift. Maybe if I send it to Phil, he could send it to.
I will, of course. Yes,
Okay,
I'd be more than happy to sign.
Yeah, then all right. So that's what we got for you. The chat room, so you guys are not totally without awards, right?
Sure.
Anyway, let's get back to the book. I'm sorry. See, this is what I do. I promote my channel. I mean, but I like to give stuff away. I like to
Of
have
course.
a crowd participate, and give you guys hopefully we have some good platform. All right. So, tell me, sounds like this is book 4. See, I'm finding it's not just book 1, 2, 3. You on book 4?
No, this is technically like let's see. So you got Conjury 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you've got Angel of Death. You've got Sarita, Young Conjury, Door Slash. So this is like book 11 in the series.
Wow.
However,
Okay.
this connects incredibly close to like what goes on in Conjury 0 and Conjury 4. So this is like this is a way to like fill in some of the gaps in the origin story.
Okay.
So if this is the first thing that you read in the series, that's not a problem, like at all.
Okay.
So
Okay. It's still a good intro into your universe you created.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And let me add something to that. It's a great read whether you've read Conjury or not.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is due to the script that Pat's written. It's something that, forget about comics for a minute. Forget about anything we talked about, Sin City. Throw all that out the door. It's such a great script because it connects on such a human and emotional level, especially being a father.
Mm-hmm.
I think something we all can relate to here. This is one of those books that if you let it, will give you that kick right in the stomach. It'll take the air out of your lungs in a good way.
Cool.
And it is it was a pleasure to do this because it is the kind of flashpoint for the Conjure universe.
So let me uh, uh, you guys saw my reaction to your
Yes,
trailer.
I
yes,
did. I loved it.
yes. I love the
Is
trailer.
it dark? Is it dark? Was it dark?
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely. Yeah. No, no, no.
okay.
Well, think of it this way. It's just like Phil kind of nailed it. I don't think I could have written um this issue say 8 or 9 years ago. So like I originally wrote Condry when I was 18. I'm 41 now. Um, but it took a
Mm.
long time for me to find an artist and to start to put all the pieces together and stuff like that. But it's just like having written this script like 2 years ago, being a husband and being a father of two, and you know, for those of you that know, like my wife has successfully, fought breast cancer, and it's something that she's still, dealing with and stuff like that. But it's just like
That's all.
you wonder sometimes, um what happens when I'm not here? Like if I'm not here anymore, like
Okay.
what do I leave behind? Have I like given my children like the things that they need in order to survive emotionally, you know? Um and
Wow.
some people don't, and sometimes we leave these massive burdens on our children, and sometimes we leave these massive burdens on the world based on the
Mm.
decisions that we've made in our lives, and that's something that like I want people to really think about, like as they read the comic.
Oh wow. You know, uh, I, when I was I didn't. I mean, I saw you guys videos here and there. I mean, interviews here and there. I didn't pay attention to it much.
Sure.
Right. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. I'm sure most of these people are doing the same thing that I did. I mean, I'm going. You know,
Sure.
I'm just skim through. And
Yeah.
say hi, and then
Mm-hmm.
and but when I was watching the trailer and some of those questions was asked, I go, holy shit. I went through that, and I'm going, but I'll tell you what that is about. Anyway, yeah. So this question is, you know, imagine you say you started at 18 and now you're 40 something.
Yeah.
Man, I imagine that story had a lot of time to mature
Yeah, and refine. Absolutely.
I mean, we call it when you preserve, when you prepare, marinate in your
Mm-hmm.
head
There you go.
for 20
Sure.
years. It
Mm-hmm.
has marinated in your head for 20 years.
Oh yeah.
And I imagine that has changed quite a bit. Tell me, what do you think has changed from your 18-year-old self to a 40-year-old self? How the story has changed?
Uh, the the
Did
story
it
is.
change at all?
Oh
Or
yeah.
was
Oh
it
yeah.
that wise at the 18?
Absolutely. So at like 18, I was just like this long-haired, rocker, tongue ring, bolt chain, crazy guy and stuff. And I had this massive love for anything Frank Miller, anything Brian Michael Bendis, um, and I just like grew up being like Brian Michael Bendis is writing like 5 comics a month. I want to do that, you know. Frank Miller writes stuff that like makes me feel. That's what I want to do. And then I ended up going to college to study journalism, and I showed my journalism professor Condry, and he was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. However, you're a really good journalist. You could probably support your family doing that." He goes, "I know nothing about comics." He goes, "I don't." He goes, "If I was you, I would stick to the journalism," and I did. And I became a college professor. I've been a college professor for 19 years, and
Wow.
um, and that's the way I support my family. But every like 2 or 3 years, because I've shown before it was published, I shown easily like 30 people like the script layouts and stuff, and I would talk about the comic to them and stuff, and they were like, this is really good. You've really put the time and energy into this. And I just think after every degree that I've gotten in journalism, after every place that I've been published, a couple of more cliches came out of the script, and a couple of extra words came out of the script, and it just kept getting tighter and tighter and tighter to the point where like I really was able to find my voice. And it's not Frank Miller and it's not Brian Michael Bendis, but I wear those influences on my sleeve. And it's changed in the fact that I think it's definitely gotten better. And I think Condry is a lot more empathetic than he was in the beginning. Like when I first started writing it, he was just like an ass kicking machine, and
Okay.
Sarita was more like comic relief, and that changed as time went on. She's much more important to the series now than she was before. So yeah, it's everything that people will say all the time. Everything happens for a reason, and I think me having to wait like 18 or 19 years before I was able to like have this come to fruition was the best thing that could have happened for it. So
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think I'm in a way that Phil has been an artist that I've noticed. I think you may have picked a pretty appropriate artist, right?
Thank you.
Because
sure.
not because of Phil. I see you. I mean, come on, look at the art he did here, right? Uh, we're not talking about technical side of it. We're talking about the emotional side of it, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Phil.
Mhm.
Do you do interior works too, or did you do just covers?
This is my first thing doing the cover and interior.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
I feel congratulations, but that's
thank you,
awesome.
thank
That's
you.
awesome. I mean, hey, Patrick,
Yeah.
I am playing little favoritism here. Okay,
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
because my bad.
That's fine. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in the fact that like we don't have comic books without artists, So this I believe in the story and the character and stuff, but if people like Phil don't do what they have to do to make it come to life, then I'm just writing fiction, and I don't want to write fiction. I want to write comics. So
I love your answer because I was in others chat. I'm not gonna name chat. I mean, anyway, there has a guest over. He was a comic book writer, and I, I wasn't meaning. Now that I think about it, it was kind of insulting, right? I said, hey, I like to see artists shine through, right?
Sure.
And because we're talking about comic book, right?
Yeah.
And I so I said, that's, but I didn't mean that I didn't like
No,
his
a
writing.
lot of writers get pissed off at it though, because they think of it the other way. Like without my story, then there's no. Well, the thing is, too,
Yeah, it's just a line on a paper. That's what he said. That's
Yeah.
what he said.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then I said, I did wrong thing myself, right? I was just check guy, and I shouldn't have said that. But
No, I love that you said
his
it. You should have said it
response
twice.
was-
No, it's the truth. It's the truth. Phil was also the perfect person for this because, like, before I even decided that I wanted Phil to do the script, I wanted this to be in like black and white, and I wanted it to have like really thick lines. I just had this idea of like the way that I wanted it to look. And if you guys get a chance to look up Phil's cover for Condry 4, the Comics Curing Cancer cover, it was just like that was his job interview without even having to have a meeting. That cover, I go, that's the guy. And he didn't even know.
No.
Like I had that script sitting, and I was waiting for the right person to come along. And because that's the thing too, I try and tell a lot of comic book writers, like, art takes a really long time. Great art. So the thing is, like, as a writer, you need to have like an arc or two like just ready to go because you don't know when the right artist is going to come along, And in this case, it was just like I saw that cover and I was just like, prayer for the dying. That's the guy, And I was super proud of him because again, there's so much emotion. Like if you guys saw the trailer, the eyes of characters, especially in comics, inferior comic book artists draw eyes that look dead. Great comic book writers, great comic book artists, they may not draw feet well, or they may not draw hands great, but their eyes, they always draw the eyes with some type of emotion. And listen, Phil's eyes in this like were absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. I'm going to say this too. It took a lot, a lot of attempts and sketching and whatnot, because first being a fan of hi Ben, being a fan of Pat's work, I knew that this was an important story, but knowing more about, hey, he thought about this when he was 18 and this, and then reading, I printed out the script when I was thinking about it, when I was actually plotting everything out, looking at the story and feeling the words and just putting yourself into the perspective of the main character, Condry's father. You know that it's something that demands a certain touch, and I'm happy that I was able to rise to the occasion in that respect.
You know, I record lots of video, and I'm releasing it later on. But what you know how it is. Editing takes a long time, right?
Sure.
Lately, but well, I have a video coming up where I'm talking about where I want to be both comic book writer and comic book artist. Right?
Me too.
And reason I mentioned that because at first I always thought, oh, people who write for comic books are not they're inferior writers.
Mm-hmm.
People who draw for comic book are inferior artists. That was my mindset before, right? And because people who do real art, they don't, it's comic book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people who write, they write novels, not comic book, right? I mean, or be a journalist, I mean, if you're a writer, right? But then, then I say, you know what? There's a comic book is a totally different type of medium.
Sure, I can.
Oh yeah.
It's a you can you have to. There's a I always thought comic book writer, comic book artists are just a more of a what is it? Jack of all, master of none, because they're doing both, right? And I thought, no, this is a totally different medium.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be both artist and writer, it's just totally different medium, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I thought I want to do that. But if the two of you, if the two of you come together like a Rembrandt and a Shakespeare, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, what kind of masterpiece can you guys create? Right?
Sure.
Yeah. So that is hey, you guys haven't proven yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to be a good team, but I see a good team.
I will say though, it's our number one digital book already, and it hasn't been released yet. So just pre-sales alone, it's our number one digital book. So
wow.
I'll say this, Naman. Anybody who's watching, go ahead and order the book and then read it, and then you come back and tell us, how well we work together.
Yeah, tell us what we did wrong. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us what we did right. Tell us what we did wrong. And to Naman, just to to piggyback off what you said, I do think I think all solid content creators, whether they are YouTubers or writers or artists, they have to have some level of empathy, and they have to have some level of selflessness. So it's just like I've met so many writers that are all about they want to tell the story exactly the way that they want to tell it. And I've told artists, because I'm editor in chief of Legacy Comics, I'm editor in chief of the site of the publication too. So it's just like, I work with other writers and other artists, and I have to tell them sometimes, like, listen, this script I would not give to any artist. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because it's not going to be fun. Like you have to make the artist feel just as hyped for the book that you wrote as you are, and there has to be some type of connection and stuff. So whenever I write a script, it's like, I try and lay the groundwork, but I try and give the artist as much room to tell the story. I think the only thing, because like I've written 8 books, I've written 7 books on video game history, I've written a hockey book, I've written thousands of articles, but the thing is, as a journalist, I deal in getting great answers from people and getting dynamic dialogue from my sources. And when you think about it, at the heart of every great comic is dynamic dialogue. If your characters can't speak dynamically and make you feel, then you have a pretty crappy comic book, you know? So it's just like I remember this was probably like 15, I want to say like 17 years ago. I produced an interview with Chris Claremont, and I'm over his house in Brooklyn getting bit up by mosquitoes. I'm behind the camera, and my writer is interviewing Chris Claremont. And every time he's speaking about one of his characters, whether it be Colossus or Cyclops or Wolverine, he's referring to them as Logan, as Peter, as Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I'm like, because now think of it this way. I'm
first
like,
name basis with them already. Well, how dare him, right?
yes. So I'm like 24 at this time. So like I wrote Condry at this point like 5 or 6 years ago, but now it's kind of like in the back burner, and I'm still like, what is wrong with this guy? Why is he referring to Wolverine as Logan? And then like it didn't hit me until like 4 or 5 years later, and I said to myself, these are real people to him. They feel like what he puts them through, what he writes for them matters. So it's just like whenever I write a comic book, I say to myself, like, what do I think that this character would do, as if they are a real person? They are very real to me. Their actions are very real to me. So not all comic book writers are like that, you know, but I think the good ones are. And I'm not saying that I'm good. I'm just saying that like those are the things that I try and do. And I think that has a positive effect on the artist, because I speak to artists all the time. I got 2 artists messaging me on Facebook right now that I'm about to yell at because they know I'm on a podcast. And but I tell them, like, if you don't feel the script, don't do it. Like, don't do it at all, or offer suggestions. You know, but a lot of writers don't like that. I wrote the script, don't touch it. Da, 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 da. You know, you have to be, you know, you have to be open. Chop. It's hard. You know, it's not easy. But when everything comes together,
I'm going to ask you put to be a similar question. Now we'll start with the Phil. Phil, do you feel empathetic toward the characters Patrick has built up?
Yeah, I mean, definitely with this script. Again, I'm trying not to give anything away.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, if you have kids, well, even if, let's say if you don't have kids, if you're somebody who goes out every day and works just for the betterment of someone else, your family, your loved ones, whoever, you're going to get this and you're going to feel this. Hey, Brian, Pat was saying, I'm sorry, you were saying at the beginning, you know, there are people who say, well, you know, this isn't a serious medium, whether it be writing or art. All mediums have the ability to convey this emotion and convey this message. It's just a matter of figuring out where exactly to connect. And, you know, my hope is that somebody who picks up this issue feels that not only can they connect through my art, not only can they connect through Pat's writing, but together, just an absolute powerhouse.
Okay, Patrick, I'm going to ask you a similar question. Did you, how often, I mean, let's assume you're just going to answer yes on Phil, you know, got the, you know, you say you are on first name basis with these characters you have created. Now, is it Phil or people, your artists, not just Phil, but the people that work with you, do they feel are they on first name basis with the character that you created?
It's so funny because I'm working on a side story for another series that I do called The Job. And it's about a pro wrestler that robs banks with his wife. So it's like Mickey Rourke's the wrestler with, if you mix that with like Point Break, the movie, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
A little Dog Day Afternoon in
I want
there.
Marissa to be in that movie as well.
Oh, nice. But the artist on the book, Chris Booth, who also did Young Condry, which is a beautiful book, he'll send me a message and he knows the script. He completely knows the script, and then he'll be like, I think we should do this instead, and da 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 da. Like, I love working with artists that like want to say, you know what, the script was this, but then we made this little tweak because I felt that and da da da. So it's just like I love having the artists involved in that type of way. Again, I do consulting with a lot of indie comic book publishers, and I had somebody here in the man cave like 2 weeks ago, and I was looking at their stuff, and I was just like, being honest with them. And the thing is, you can tell when an artist just does not care. When the artist doesn't put in that extra touch, that extra shadow, that extra line under the eye, and this and that. And I've been super lucky with Condry. I've been super lucky with the job.
Guys, I'm sorry. Excuse me 1 second.
So I've been super lucky on like Condry and the job that like I've gotten artists that like super care. But that hasn't always been the case. Like I've had like we have a zombie series called Brooklyn Bleeds, which is a lot of fun, but like it's been a struggle to like really like get an artist that like is super into like zombies and things like that. So in this case, in Condry, Phil nailed it. Phil totally connected with those characters, and like that's the thing too. Like, Moore, love that guy. He's awesome. It's kind of hard. So the thing is, like, I not only write Condry, but I also letter it too. And since I'm not an artist, lettering is like the closest way that I can have like some type of artistic like impact on the book, because the way the book reads is very important. And I remember looking at Phil's initial art and being
how much control you have on that? How much the flow of the book?
What was that? I didn't hear you.
How much control you have on the flow of the comic book?
I think a ton. I think a ton, because the thing is, it's just like words in the wrong place. Because think of it this way: the letterer guides the eye through the story. The letterer tells you where to look and when to look.
Right.
Right. So it was.
Like, I mean, they could go. You're supposed to read this way, but then they skip that part and they go to that panel to read it there instead of read that one that's on that panel, right?
I see books all the time, and it was like I was looking at a Valiant book a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like, who lettered this? And I didn't mean it as like a knock on the letterer, but it was just like I just looked at the panel. The panel's like this way, and then like left first, then right, and they had it just like all to the right and then to the left. So it just like it took my eye away from so many cool things that were going on the page. And when I got Phil's art, I loved it, but then I was just like, oh my god, like I have to letter this now, and now I have to be able to like guide it properly. And the pages just got better when they were lettered. And I remember I must have lettered that book in like an hour and a half. I lettered it super fast, and Phil was on Facebook at the time, and I'm just sending him pages as I'm finishing, and he's just like, you're flying, and I was just like, it was just super easy to letter, because it's just like his almost like his cinematic approach to paneling just really allowed the story to flow the way that it needed to. So
sorry about that. I had a little domestic issue I had to take care of.
That's okay.
No problem. So hey, chat, let me remind you, if you have a question for these guys, first of all, I'll give everybody a duck. Whoever names you on here, I'm gonna give everybody ducks. Everybody's gonna have a duck, but if you want an extra duck, come out with a great question, because I'm a poor interviewer. You guys have to help me out.
Nah, you're doing great so far.
So just come out with some questions, help this old man out, and and so that I will run you into some ducks. Okay.
Naman, I have something I'm interested in hearing about here. So I know not too long ago, and this didn't really connect with me until I saw your review of the trailer. You had some health issues.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't delve and find out how serious they were. I knew you were out of commission for a long time, but your review made me think they were a lot more serious than anyone would have liked.
Yeah, you guys asked these questions as if hey, I had a stroke, okay, and I almost died. I was out in ambulance thing came in till like it was midnight. So and
Wow.
then I was out there naked, almost naked, out there by the tree. Anyway, I was sitting there thinking about my death, coming death. How much? I wasn't fearful. I remember that, but I don't remember all these things that you talked about, like in your trailer.
Mhm.
Flashing by your life, flashing by, and all the happy thoughts, all the negative thoughts. I go, oh, yeah, it was just too, because my brain was just effed up. I go,
Yeah,
So,
man.
so what were you thinking of?
Yeah.
huh?
I want to hear this. Yeah,
What were
man.
you,
Talk to
what
us.
I'm Jenny, what was popping in your head?
Oh, what was I just going? All I remember is that I thought I was in some kind of I had the when you have a stroke, there's the acronym called FAST. FAST means F stands for arm weakness. I forgot F. I keep on forgetting what F stands for. Arm weakness is one of them. FAST. Uh, uh, Losing arm strength, and your eye face drooping. Your face droops. So if you see someone face drips, then that person might be going through a stroke.
So you were
Uh,
like in that
Wow.
second trying to diagnose.
well, uh, my parents had both of them had a stroke, so I know about this acronym, right?
Oh well.
Uh, Unfortunately, I find out later on that a lot of people, people have different reaction. My reaction was that I lost the sense of smell,
Wow.
and because of that, I thought I was in the restroom at the time, and I thought we had some kind of methane
Oh,
poison
wow.
coming through my house, right?
Yeah.
Because the smell changed completely, right? So I
Wow.
go, oh my gosh, there's methane gas attack in my house, right? And as soon as I got out of my toilet, I lost all strength in my arms and legs,
Oh,
fast
wow.
arm, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going, oh, because of a methane gas, it's already attacking me. So I'm crawling out of my basement, and it turns out that I didn't put my underwear on. I had my tank top on, and I went outside, and it was 12 at night. No one was out there, and I thought, oh, I still smell the methane gas, and
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
everybody must be dead. Everybody must be dead.
Wow. That's
And,
wild.
because nobody, another thing that you lose at the time I didn't know, but if a speech is what you lose. Speech you lose. So you lose strength and you start babbling, right? So I thought I was yelling at people, help, hey! But I wasn't yelling. I thought I was yelling, but I was just instead of going, I was just going, "Ah, man." I was, that, and no one heard me. No one came out. I just thought everybody was dead. I sat there in front of the tree. I didn't want to go that way because there's another neighborhood that wasn't no lights and there must be poisonous. This way is poisonous. So I sat in the middle of the street, almost middle of of the side of the street. I was
Wow.
naked. I had underwear. The undershirt that covered me up a little bit, but
You were Winnie the Poohing it.
yes, I was just sitting there
Terrible.
thinking, oh, people are gonna find me naked, dead, and I'm gonna
Wow.
and
Well, we're happy that you're here.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
and but finally it started at 12, and then at 6 o'clock people start driving. That's when I realized, wait, maybe not everybody's dead. So I finally crawled back into the neighborhood, knock on their door. They finally answer and they call the ambulance. So
Wow.
all the time, I'm accepting my debt, as I was accepting my debt. All these things that you guys talking about, that I don't remember doing that. I don't remember.
Wow. Wow.
I just remember my brain got just smashed up. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
so so when yeah, there it is. Face. speech, time.
Oh,
Time is
boy.
time is essence, right? So that's yeah. So but not everybody's the same. I'm telling you. Smell,
That's
nose,
crazy. Yeah, man.
and your neighborhood is very important. Neighborhood is very important. Okay, because without a neighborhood, I would probably, you know, somebody would have been found me dead, naked on the street. And at least I didn't have to worry about having clean underwear.
There you go.
The fact that you're able to be so positive and laugh this off, I mean, I don't know if I would be the same way. Like
well,
you're awesome just for that.
uh,
Like
one of the comic. Hey, I'm gonna make it that comic book.
you should listen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There have been comics based on pretty much everything, and I think something
Well,
like
my
that.
message is the fast acronym is
That's the name of the book right there.
the only acronym you should remember.
Hmm.
Because the sense of nose.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
sorry. I'm going on and on about talking about myself. I'm sorry.
No,
guys.
it's okay.
No.
But your book trailer, since I mean, you got your book. I mean, you see why your trailer at least go shit. This feels creepy as heck.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Mhm.
creepy, right?
But you know what, too? As creepy as it is, 'cause I've shown it to some people who have nothing to do with comics. And it's because that human element that, look, no matter who you are, no matter what you enjoy doing, no matter if you're a man or woman, whatever, everybody, goes at some point through that. What happens when I'm not here? What's going to happen
Yeah.
in my last minute, type of conversation. And
Yeah,
that's what,
yeah.
that's why this story is one that I feel really pulls you in. Again, whether you've read 100 pages of Condry or nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I still think about those things, and that
Sure.
you have written about those things. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah. Oh, you froze, man.
Yeah, I mean
I
in
think you're
a
coming
good
back.
sense. Okay, I'm not
Oh,
meaning
of course.
bad
No,
sense.
no, no.
Okay?
I know. You know what it is
Okay,
too.
well,
It's just
yeah,
like
good.
I've never been a fan of like your caped superheroes and things like that. It's just like it gets boring after a while, and I feel like really good comics today are kind of deviating from that. I'm not saying that I don't like superheroes, because I mean Condry, he is a superhero. He's a vigilante, he's an anti-hero and stuff like that, but it's just like that whole like wearing your underwear outside your pants kind of thing. We've got to learn to tell stories a little bit differently now. It worked for a really long time, and those are just like stories that like I really, that's not my preferred way of telling stories. Like I like to tell stories that are as grounded in reality as possible. So you go, you know what, I know I'm reading fiction, but I felt like this before, and it makes you connect more with the character. So that's kind of like what we've been going for. And the thing is too, when you look at Phil's art, he's got this like super awesome, like realistic feel, and it's just like it was a marriage of the writing and the art that just worked beautifully together.
Oh yeah, I mean,
K-pop.
K-pop's here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sure I'm breaking up, and you guys are breaking up to me too. So I'm sorry about my.
Okay. No
No, it's
worries.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The like I said before, problem with nowadays the media nowadays, they have to please everybody, they have to connect with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's impossible. And how your book has it made me go, holy cow, that happened to me too. And that, I mean, how many of us could there be? I mean, it's not everybody, right? It's not everybody, but you connected with me because you connected with me at personal level, right? And you can, if you write you draw a comic book for everyone, then you're not going. I mean, I'm sorry, you're not going to touch everybody. It's just not.
Oh yeah.
But if you write
Oh,
for
yeah. No.
your real people gonna have a connection, right? And I hope
Absolutely.
that's the case for you guys, is to be able to connect. And the type of things I heard, you know, me living. Well, I mean, I think about this all the time. Have I, did I leave something for my children? Do they, did I at least teach them how to survive? And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it, that's something as we face our mortality. That's things we think
Hmm.
about as we age, right? Uh,
Absolutely. There was
and
not to deviate too far, but like there was to go back to like the style of writing and stuff. A lot of comic book writers just like they're trying to hit a mark, and sometimes they don't know where that mark is, and it's like it's not until the audience starts to really respond. Because the worst thing that could ever happen is for a comic book writer to go out and write like 8 or 9 issues of a series and have like no idea how anybody feels. So like that's the thing. If you guys buy a comic off of someone or off a website, those user reviews, all comic book writers and artists look at it because they want feedback. And I remember probably the first really good piece of feedback I ever got was I was doing MagFest, which is this really important, really cool. It's like indie video game, and indie video game music convention, and it's 24 hours, like 3 days in a row. So it's just like super popping, tons of people and stuff. And these 3 kids from like Penn State University bought Conjury Zero off of me. And the next day they came back, or maybe it was a couple of hours later, they came back to me and they recited a line from Conjury Zero. So there's a part in Conjury Zero where Conjury's really like just he's fed up with society and the things that like people like love so much. So he's basically like, fuck all of you people, like fuck your pictures on Instagram, your cupcake pictures, like all that. Like every single one of those pictures, like fuck all of you. Like that's basically like what he says, very raw and stuff. And then so I had 3 19-year-olds from Penn State University come up to my booth and they recited, they're like, fuck every cupcake picture on Instagram, every single one, none of it matters anyway. And I was just like, okay, all
and
right, we're on to something. Like they
so you
related to that,
very personal level, right?
Yeah, so it's just like every time I write, after that, it was just like every time I write, I try and say, okay, so like what Phil and I did was like an 8-page comic. So I'm like, I want to have at least one line on every page that somebody can go, that's powerful. Because the thing is, it may not be. So, but if I'm at least trying to hit a mark on every page, I'm gonna get them at least once or twice. And that's the thing. If you can get a reader to remember something that you wrote once or twice in an issue or once or twice in an ash can, you're in a good spot to succeed. So as a writer, so that's kind of like what I go for.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just think to echo what Pat said, he's setting up these great words and these great moments. It's the artist's responsibility to, first and foremost, respect, what you're doing here. It's like if you go to your friend's house, and they say, oh, here, you want to play with my Thundercats. You're not going to break them. You're not going to melt them or throw them. You have your chance in the play box here, in the toy box. Do what you can do, respect it. But at the end of the day, if I draw something, let's say, and it's not quite working to Pat's vision, then it's not going to help anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Listen, I'm going to be brutally honest. Like Phil was in a tough spot to do this because it's like this is his first sequential art, and he's getting like the keys to like our top selling series. If I was him, I would have been a little scared,
I was terrified. I was terrified. No, first, I'll say this: if it weren't for, and she's not watching this, so I'm not getting any husband points. If it weren't for my wife, I probably would not be able to pull this off, because you need that support system, whether it be to kind of look over your shoulder and say, I don't know how that is, or really just as a source of encouragement, because I don't know about you, Naman, because you do some beautiful artwork. I know that no matter how great a picture I draw is, there's always that part of me that's like, man, nobody's gonna like this. This one's not good. And that's why I'm always kind of blown away when somebody says, yeah, dude, this is fantastic. And what I had done, I printed out the script that Pat sent me. And I was trying to be mindful.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was trying to be mindful of, I want enough time to flesh things out and kind of give Pat some drafts so that if something's not working, I don't want to put all this work into it and say, no, I don't like this. It's important, I think, to be collaborative. So I spent a couple lunch breaks just with my sketch pad at work, just sketching, roughs, and then finally translating them onto like Procreate and really doing some finishing touches and everything. And I wanted to put enough time in where I was like, all right, Pat, this is what I got. What do you think? And luckily, I guess I hit it.
Oh yeah.
There were tweaks that had to be done.
Can you?
I'm
getting on sync here. I'm losing signals, and I'm sure you guys are too. Is there something can I go to some website where I could show you guys comic book, a little bit of visual presentation?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Or if you could give me the link, or you could.
Yeah, I just sent it to you in
StreamYard.
It's in the chat.
Okay. On the private chat. Okay.
In the private chat.
In the private chat.
All right. All right. Let's see.
Yeah. And while Naman's bringing this up, one thing we haven't said, that if you want to get your pre-order in now, Legacy Comics with an X.com, and pick yourself up Conjuring Prayer for the Dead. Pick up a bevy of anything from Legacy Comics.
By the way, the cover, this yours, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the cover A.
Yeah. What is that? 5? What's that? 5 what?
Are you using a VPN? No, because the website knows like your location, so it changes the currency based on your location.
Oh yeah, looks like
I'm in Virginia.
You're in Virginia? Are you sure?
Yeah. This internet. Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe the internet is acting up.
My feedback to Europe. Somebody in Europe is stealing my bandwidth. That's what it is.
That's so funny. It happens.
Okay.
So there's a Euro Naman somewhere in Paris right now.
Yes, eating a croissant.
He's wearing what do you call it?
A beret.
Yeah, there you go.
That's so funny.
All right. So we are talk about this book. You say it's coming out
I'm gonna have the books on Friday, so in 2 days. It's available digitally already on legacycomics.com in digital. We've got it in physical and in digital. There's multiple covers to the digital. So yeah, it's an 8-page story that beautifully sets up like the other issues in the series. So if you've never read Conjury, it's a good place to start. If you're a fan of, I'm trying to think of comics today. If you like Punisher, if you like Daredevil, if you like Wolverine, like at their roots, like what those characters stand for, then you'll totally dig it. Like I said, I've been a college professor for 19 years. I spent like 18 teaching literature. So there's a lot of Count of Monte Cristo in there. There's a lot of Tarzan in there. There's definitely some Shakespeare in there too. But you really like don't know what you're gonna get. Like I throw stuff in every issue where sometimes it's just like, oh my God, he did that, because it's just like I want people to be like to feel like that anything can happen in Conjury at like any given time. So
I'll say this too: if you're a fan of Legacy Comics, if you're familiar with Legacy Comics, and this is something I don't know if Pat caught up on too, but because it is a very fine detail in one of the trailers
Mm-hmm.
But in the book, I do have a Legacy Comics Easter egg.
Oh yes, I know. I do.
Yeah?
I do
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yes. What was it?
Well, don't
I don't
say
want
it.
to.
Wait,
I don't want
say
to
it.
give it away.
Let
But
people...
it's a shirt, right? Is that what we're going for?
Yes,
Is that
yeah,
what?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I immediately saw that and I was just like, yeah, I love this guy. I love that he did that. So yeah, that's awesome.
So you got some comic geek in one of the side characters or main character.
one of our other series is represented in this ash can, and it's just like if you're a big fan of Legacy Comics, you'll go, Phil is on top of his game. And see, that's the thing too. It's just like we might have spoken about it in another podcast. But what makes Phil different than the other artists that we've had on the series is that like usually when I put a new artist on a series, I have to like send them the comics so this way they can get acquainted with the characters and stuff like that. Phil like understands like what I'm trying to do with this series as much as like any artist that I've ever worked on the series with. So that's why I knew we were in good hands. Like he was like it was his first test of his sequential work, but between all the work that I gave him on the job, dark matches, and his thick skin, yeah, like look at those eyes in that panel. Like that is something, you know. He knocked this one out of the park. So like this is the thing. If you're not a fan of me, I get that. I'm not for everybody. If you're not a fan of hard-boiled noir, I get that. It's not for everybody. But if you're a fan of Phil, like this is something that like you definitely want to check out. And if you're not a fan of me, if you're not a fan of noir, if you're not a fan of Phil, then why are you here? You know? No, don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave.
Go.
Don't go. But you know what I'm
They're
saying?
here
It's
for
just
the
like
duck race. Surely not.
Wait, I have a question for you. Did the shirt... the question went away.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did the shirt you get that idea from Macho Man picture I drew?
Phil might not have seen that picture. I know I posted it on my
Wait,
Wait,
is that like it was part of a giveaway?
No. She just drew it. Like she drew this awesome picture of Macho Man, and it had in the background all of like these Legacy Comics Easter eggs like hidden all over it and stuff like that. So no, Cassie, I think he just came up with that idea because he's Phil, because he's awesome. So yeah.
No, but it sounds like we're like-minded, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Bor, I missed filming on my couch. The problem is that now my kids are more active and vocal. If I started filming on my couch, we wouldn't get anything done whatsoever.
All right, guys. I'm gonna start writing the names down
Sure.
For the duck race. Now, how much is this book?
$1 million.
$1 million. Okay, now you're getting the book.
Yeah, $1 million. No, it's guys. It's $5 physical. It's $4 digital. We have a $10 variant that is limited to just 50 copies. We have like 10 left. The rest have all been pre-ordered already. And also, anyone that's listening, if you order the book tonight, you will get it signed for free in your order. So that's not a bad deal, you know.
Okay, so well, I have to order one for myself. I don't own physical copy, of course.
Sure.
And I need to send one book out to the. Can I order it? This is just. Can I order one and give address to someone else?
Sure. Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So,
you just message Phil or me, and like wherever you want to send the other copy, we'll send it over. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's one book goes to me, one book goes to whoever wins the contest.
Whoever wins the duck race.
Duck race. So far, did I get the $10 one? No, you haven't won anything yet, Casey. You of course you guys all could get a $10 one.
No,
okay?
Cassie's asking if she pre-ordered the variant. I'm pretty sure you did. So Cassie's awesome. Cassie owns like one copy of like pretty much every Legacy comic. She's pretty awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so Casey is your fan.
Yeah.
One of
And friend. She's a friend. Like that's the thing. It's just like, man, when you do this indie comics thing and you have somebody reach out and they support your work, they're more than a fan. So they're like they become like your friends, you know, and yeah.
Casey,
So.
you may win up. So I have a wait. You say variant cover. What is a variant cover?
So a variant cover is it's another version of the comic that you release in lesser quantity, you know, and usually from
Which
a
one is
different
that one
artist.
cover?
I'm going to send you the link right now to it,
Okay.
to the variant cover. I'm going to throw it in your private chat. And Mike LeMay did the cover, and what we did was we did a digital exclusive first, and we made it fun for our readers. We're like, if we sell 50 pre-orders of this variant, then we will do a physical. And Mike went to the masses and was like, let's make this happen. So Mike has published like 3 or 4 covers from like 3 or 4 different indie publishers in like the last 3 months, and he's getting ready for his first con. So he wants to fill his table with his work, and he has busted his ass to move this variant digitally and physically. So, and it's beautiful. So it's like it's best of both worlds.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
I like that. It reminds me very much of kind of not the same, not like an homage, but just the style. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Tomb of Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just the pose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's is that you say Lem? What's his name?
Mike LeMay.
Yeah, it's not Austin. Yeah, no, it's not Austin. There's an artist in our community.
Well, he's a cover artist for this.
Yeah.
Austin LeMay. Yeah. Okay. So I got that two name mixed up. Okay. Let's see.
They're related. I don't know.
Well, LeMay is he happened to be French. LeMay, he's a French.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's anyway.
He's hanging out with the French now, man.
Yep.
Let me now. So if I guess they'll put $10, and you only have 10 of these left, or none?
Yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure that I think 10 or 12 left, so it was limited to just 50 copies, but we've gotten quite a number of pre-orders of it already. So yeah.
So these are pre-orders. So it'd be about a week. Then how long you guys have to order? Fill that order. I don't know.
I ship so pretty much like we're gonna get those books. It depends. If we get those books early on Friday, I'll be shipping them on Friday. But if they come like after 12, 1 o'clock, we have quite a few orders to fill, and I do all of the packing and things like that. So if they come later on Friday, they probably won't be sent out until like Monday morning, because Sunday obviously is like a no-go, and I have a wife and 2 kids, so Saturday I don't like to do any packing and stuff. So you'll definitely.
And I'll say this as somebody who's purchased books from Legacy. Pat, I think Pat's better than Midtown.
I think
certainly better than Unknown.
Yeah,
way better than Unknown.
Okay.
I've got about 400 Gemini boxes and bags and boards here. Like, we don't send anything out unless it's in a Gemini box and things like that. So I haven't had any complaints about anyone that's gotten delivery from us, and we have shipped thousands of books over the past like 3 years. So
okay, so that's you know what, whoever wins, of course, I don't want to put you guys in a difficult position. You can order I'll do this. I'm not gonna make them choose. You guys gonna get a variant copy if there is a variant copy available. Okay, so winner's gonna get variant copy and Phil's cover, both of them. Yeah, see, I'm nice. I'm nice.
You're awesome, Nam. You are awesome.
So that's what I'll do, and let's see. Now let's get the duck race going on. Let's get the duck race going on. Share screen. Duck race. You guys see it? You guys see it?
I see it.
It's loading. Yeah, proceed to game. Look at this.
Where's the
Okay.
duck race? Where's duck race? You guys see it? Let me.
Yes.
I see the screen. I'm on my phone, so I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Start.
This is so cool. I've never seen this before.
Oh, you haven't. Oh, yeah. These are pretty cool. I know some of them too. You could get like different kind of things, not just ducks,
Mm-hmm.
like rockets and.
That's cool.
Well, I don't see the duck race though.
It said
Race
duck
timer.
race before.
If you guys are smart, you ask another question as Nam is setting up the duck race because
There you
we'd
go.
be more than happy to
yeah.
answer something.
Get yourself an extra duck. You know.
Mhm.
Get an extra duck. Good idea. Let's see. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
I had to scroll down. Now I'm going to put the names. Edit list. All right. Here's the names. All right. I'm going to go ahead and delete these names. All right. Let's go
No
to
ducks.
the channel history. No duck
here we
right
go.
now. Let's see. We'll go all the way to the top. Pick out. Who was Kenneth? Casey. Casey is the very
Cassie.
first person.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie. Her. Uh-oh.
Getting those ducks on there.
Casey gets 2.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, if you win, get extra bucks. Share. Okay. And
She's great. Like I'll be brutally honest. Like I have not met someone that is as
Kenneth Myers,
selfless as
yes.
her. Like Cassie has gone to cons and bought like anywhere from like 10 or 15 legacy comics, trading card comics, and given those to people at cons. Like she's awesome.
And then there's another one. We got Ducky 524. Whoever Ducky 524 is. Ducky 524. And we got thank you, Ducky 524. Ben Compton.
Yeah,
Ben
what's
Compton's
that?
here.
Yeah, those are awesome. I
What's
love
that?
those.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Naman, I don't know if you've seen this on the Legacy site. Pat's got these cards. I'm not going to show you the back, but it's a QR code. So you read the whole story on your phone or your device, and you have this pretty cool trading card here too. I like this kind of a Pulp Fiction homage.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me see if I could. Wait, how's that not working?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I have to take the duck out. Okay, now I'll get to that. Uh-oh. What happened to the duck? Phil, come on, show me that. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Show me that.
And then in the back, it has a description and it has a QR code.
Yeah.
So you scan the card with your phone, and then you can read the comic on your phone. So, or your tablet,
Okay,
or you
cool,
could mirror
cool.
it to your TV. You can do all sorts of things with it. So,
We got Ben Compton. We got Joe. I'm going to just put in Joe Anacarnic because I'm not going to spell out Anacarnic.
I don't blame you on that one.
Sorry, Joe. And then we got Chop.
yeah, can't forget
Chopper.
Chop, Hickey Pop, K-pop,
Who?
Wellbore.
K-pop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Well, Naman's getting that ready too. Anybody
Brian?
here who has a YouTube channel, Pat and I would love to come and talk about Condry, about this book, and even look past this book. Pat's an awesome guest to have on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've got tons of great stuff coming the rest of the year. I definitely want to get Phil aboard again on something else.
I challenge you guys to do better interview than me, okay?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you got your
like little competition.
You did great. You did great.
Jaguar.
I want to see this duck race. That's what I want to see.
Okay, now
I've never seen a duck race before.
Did I miss anybody's name? Did I miss anybody else's name? Oh, there's Hickey Pop. Hickey Pop. Hickey Pop.
I asked the question. There you go.
Who asked?
I asked the question. I should get a duck.
Oh, you get a duck. You want to win your own book?
My duck went south.
I'll tell you what, Phil. I'll let you reward your duck to someone.
You know what we're gonna
There
do
you go.
too, guys, just to sweeten the pot a little bit more. And
go ahead.
anyone that orders Conjury Prayer for the Dying tonight off of the website, will get a copy of Conjury 0
There you go.
for free. Signed.
Ooh. Okay, so if I order 2 orders,
Then I'll throw
both of
2 in
them
there
will
for you.
come down.
Yeah,
All right,
Double
all
zero.
right,
absolutely.
all right.
And
All right,
there
all
are extremely limited numbers of copies of those left. So I would say, like
Cool.
the first
Cool.
like five people. So after that, yeah. So that's a great way between Conjury 0 and Conjury Prayer for the Dying. You're getting like a really big first chunk of the series. So
Yeah.
Let's see if
let's see this duck race now.
edited. Okay, we got let's see, am I missing anybody?
I don't think so. I think you're good.
Let me
I think you're covered.
I'm
2 for
covered.
Cassie. She was smart. Yeah. Mhm.
Phil, I said you can name someone. You could give
Oh.
someone an extra whole duck if you want.
I got to go with my boy Wellbore.
Huh? Who?
Wellbore.
Wellbore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wellbore. Okay, all right. You got Wellbore got extra. Wellbore
go.
got extra.
Look at that.
All right.
Let's see.
So that's that. We're gonna set the names. I'm gonna put a. What will we put in? Oops. 0. No, that's too short. About
Woo! 50 seconds. This is crazy. I feel the
No,
suspense.
we don't want
No,
that.
no,
We don't
no,
want
no,
that. No. I mean, I hope that the clear doesn't clear everybody's name.
Nah, I think it'll just clear the
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, only one way to find it. There you go. See? Okay.
500. No, that's too long. Clear. That's about 60 seconds. 60.
Sure.
There.
There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go. Uh-huh.
All right. Set. All right, we got the names.
All right.
still.
Oh, this is wild.
Okay. All right. So, good luck, everybody. I hope you guys get a. I hope your duck wins. Ready? Set. Start. All right. All right.
Up, Cassie's up, pulling up the rear.
Is that duck okay?
Casey has a 2 ducks, so she has 2 ducks.
Oh, here comes Chop.
You know, it's not a good sign to be early in the lead, but she has 2 ducks, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Is Chops a panda or a duck or a panda duck?
Who's the chicken? Chicken is coming. The green chicken. And Brian. Here comes Brian.
Brian.
Oh, the Godfather.
Up.
Who's the Jag? Jaguar is coming. Who's Jaguar coming?
Up. Brian's pulling away. Oh, here comes Chop.
Chopper's coming back
This
up.
won't be Chop's race, though. Chop is sticking in. Maybe Joe
Oh,
will.
Kenneth. Kenneth is coming up. Kenneth is coming up.
Jag. Looks like Jag's making for it.
Oh, and Jag.
Looks like Jag. Hey, Jag. Hey, Jag. You have my Instagram? Please send me your address so I can send these guys address to send the. Congrats, Jag.
That was way too much fun. I feel like I shouldn't be having that much fun this late at night.
That means I'm going to remove that now. All right. That race is done. So that one, hey Jack, remember, send me on Instagram, and then both of you getting the copy 0.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep, and I'll sign them for you in a sexy red acrylic marker. It'll be cool.
get the personal signature? Do I get a little markup? And
Of course. Sure.
all right, all right, all right. Hey, congratulations, and hey, this was a good. I think you guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
know, answering stuff.
Thank you. Had a
You
great
guys even
time.
got me talking about myself, and promoting my show. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate
Absolutely. Yeah,
that.
man.
Anything right before we go? Anything you guys want to add to it? Anything? A message for the crowd or for each other? No?
Legacycomics with an X.com.
Mhm.
All right. All right.
I will say that indie comics is incredibly tough. It's not for everyone. In the 4 years that I've been doing this, I've seen so many indie publishers being born and dying at the same time. We fight really hard for the space that we've acquired. We're not going to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. But it's really, yeah. I'll drop the link right now for the website in the YouTube. But it's just like we have great people from literally all over the world doing really cool stuff, and it's because of podcasts like this and people like you that are like literally fighting for us every single day that like we're super grateful and super happy to be able to thrive the way that we have so far. So thank everyone that's listening. Thank you so much. And if you've never read our stuff, we really would love to have you as a reader, and we'd love to hear what you have to think, what you have to say about our work.
Let me see if I could copy this link here. I'm gonna copy link address and then
The regular site is legacycomics.com/shop. I'm going to send that to you right now. That's the thing too, guys. We have a Patreon. It's updated every day. We have an Instagram updated every day. We have a Facebook that is updated every day. We have a website that is updated with work in progress every day. We have a podcast on Spotify that's once a week. Like, I'm a full-time college professor, but like this is, some people have custom cars in their garage. I have like this company. This company is like my midlife crisis. I love like what this brand is all about. I love working with people like Phil and telling stories in the comic book medium. So if you guys want to check us out, like we would love to have you as a reader.
And K-pop, thanks. And gonna leave the link on the description as well. Yeah. So yeah. Hey, these guys made some personal connection with me. So and you guys getting a lucky. I mean, every one of you lucky if you get it. You get the books. Okay. But Jaguar, congratulations again, and thanks for being in the chat room listening. And those of you who are watching the rewind, I'll provide the links in the description. Thanks for rewind, and thanks for joining us in the chat as well. Hey, thanks, gentlemen. Have a good night. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.